Hey, this is Stacia, and I just got done with a training game on chess.com. I played 30 minutes. I didn't do it live because I didn't want to bore you guys too much. But let's look at the analysis. Maybe you can tell from the sound of my voice that I'm fairly happy with this game, but I have not analyzed it yet, so let's see what we can learn. The opening was a bit crazy. Not really, but I was scared. So knight f3, knight to c6, and bishop c4. So my opponent rated 1800 on chess.com was Surya Chaitanya. I was a little nervous during the game because my opponent kept disconnecting, reconnecting after like every move. And I mean, that very well could be someone that's just bored and not paying attention and switching to different tabs, looking at stuff not chess related, or it could be somebody that's using the engine. I'm always suspicious online. I hate to say it, but that turned out to not be the case here, though. Okay, so knight to f6 is my move. This is called the two knights defense. Now, when I play against this, I play the move knight to g5, which I do think is, Bobby Fischer called it the only way to play for an advantage. There's also d3, which is, you know, Spanish torture lines. And there's even, what else is there here? Like, castles might be a move, maybe. I'm sure there's knight c3, the four knights. But those are probably the main moves. And after castles, I do grab this pawn. I mean, I'm pretty sure my coach said, yeah, grab that pawn. It's fine, do it. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. And I'm pretty sure I have a flashcard on this. And I was getting, you know, I was remembering how the line went. Not perfectly, like blurry, but things felt familiar, so I was able to play them. So knight takes e4 is risky, of course, because, you know, the e-file is open and the knight can get kicked and this pawn is under attack a lot of times. And the reason I play this move is because, number one, my coach told me, but number two, anytime I can grab this pawn and play d5, I'm pretty happy with my position. We create the strong pawn duo in the center and go from there. So in the game, he played rook e1, which I actually think is a mistake already. I think you really can't afford to undefend this pawn because I can play bishop c5 at some point and put pressure there. So, and that comes with tempo. So I think, you know, if you're going to play like this, maybe queen e1 or queen e2, attacking the knight, and then d5 is what I'm thinking. So let's ask the opening book if I'm right. It says knight c3 is the top move, which makes sense. And then it says I should just take it, and black's better here. So here, d takes. So, you know, white gets to open up their bishop, but they do accept double pawns. But I'm up a pawn. Like, yeah, I just don't see full compensation for white here. Now, could they sack or something crazy coming up? I don't know, but it says I can play bishop e7, and then I'm asking the engine. It's saying queen d5 and the game is equal. Ooh, yeah. That's like, it's like, hey, I'm going to checkmate you. What do you want to do about it? And by the way, I'm attacking your pawn again. So I guess I would castle here because I don't see another option. And then probably they win the pawn back. Yeah. So that's how that line goes. Queen d5 wins the pawn back. So, and then we just take, and the game goes from here. Both sides have two bishops, and black's pawn structure is better. I like black. You know, I like black here. So that's the main line of this, like after knight to c3. That's what we just looked at. Instead, my opponent went rook e1. Now, let's look at queen Yeah, queen e2 is a move the engine's giving. This is what I was expecting. And here I would play d5. And they would probably go bishop b5. And okay, d3 is coming, right? And now bishop c5 isn't so good because this is heavily defended. And so the engine is giving bishop to d6. Yeah, defending this, I think. And then c4 is the move for white, apparently. What? Yeah, so it's kind of cute. It's like, hey, you know, take the pawn. Go ahead, I dare you. But here, we just ignore it. We play bishop e6. We just solidify. And black's better here. It's like we snagged a pawn and we kept it. I'm not used to playing like this, but I'm trying to learn how to be more versatile. It's like I've been sacrificing pawns for the last 2 or 3 years now, like, and that just feels so right to me at this point, that grabbing a pawn and hanging on to it, I'm always like scared. I'm like, oh my God, what crazy tactic are they going to play on me? But this is correct, and I did have some knowledge of that. So after rook e1, I played d5, and they played bishop to b5. So now here, you know, to me, the big question is, can I play bishop c5? You know, if I can play bishop c5, then my position's amazing. I'll have my bishop on the best square, my knight's in the center, pressure on f7, I'm up a pawn. I mean, what more could you possibly want? And I determined that I can play this because even d4, you know, I thought I could just take it. The thing about this that I was remembering from my flashcard is that, you know, if they ever tried to play knight e5, attacking my pinned knight, like looking to, you know, win material on c6, and then play f3, f3 is actually not possible because I will have a bishop on c5 and a pawn on d4, and a lot of times I can push that pawn with check, and it makes it hard to play f3 and try to do anything with the knight. So I remembered that from the flashcard. So let's see if it's true, because I have no idea. But yeah, I see bishop c5 is the top engine move, so that is good. Now I expected d4 here, but I had to calculate knight takes e5. I think this all like is really good for me, right? Because I just take. I mean, I would definitely take. And after king h1, there is no f3. There's d3 though on my knight. Like, I was wondering if I could go bishop d2, but yeah, I don't have to go bishop d2. Bishop d2 is probably not good actually. So let's see if we do this. The engine says bishop takes c6. Black's still a lot better here. We just take back. Okay, I was wondering about this though. Like, what if they go here and I take, and then like d3, I was thinking. Well, I guess we have time to take this rook. So that's the problem, isn't it? That's got to be the problem. Yeah, it says d3 is the best move, so this is the best they have now. Now my knight is pinned and attacked. So it says I should go a6, attacking the counterattacking. And after this, take with the queen so that once they take the knight, I was going to say take there, but now the computer says just castle first. Just castle, and then queen g3 is the move apparently. Why can't white do this? It says that gives us time to coordinate the position. Yeah, and we're not up material, but I don't like the white queenside too much, and I don't like the king on h1. There's back rank issues. The queen's on the back rank too, so yeah, black is better here. So pretty interesting stuff. All right, so if we go back to the game, after d5, bishop e5, bishop c5, which I had to calculate, d4, I decided to take the pawn, and this is what I remember from my flashcard, and that is the top engine move. It's the only move. So I'm happy to see that my flashcards are working for me. All right. Well, mixed with calculation. I have been doing calculation training daily. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I've been doing it over the board, so I haven't been making videos of it or anything, but I just like I Am Kostya's approach from Chess Dojo. He's like, look guys, it's not complicated to get better at chess. He's like, it is hard, but it's not complicated. He's like, do 1 hour of calculation a day, 5 days a week for like 6 weeks. He's like, you'll get better. So I'm like, wow, you know, he's totally right. I'm just going to do that. So I made a graph and I've been doing that. So don't want to bore you guys too much. Back to the game. All right. So he decided, I actually was expecting knight e5, but this makes more sense. Grab a pawn. Yeah, and then here I'm like, can I just castle now? You know, like, can I just castle? I'm still up a pawn. Yes, there's a lot of pressure on c6, but the knight's actually pinned for the moment, and f2 is still very tender. So I thought I could castle. I just had to calculate bishop takes c6 and knight takes c6. And I think both lines are very similar where, you know, if the knight moves, I'm going to take on f2. And then a lot of times in these lines, if the king comes to f1, he doesn't have to though, he has h1. But if he does come to f1, we usually have bishop a6 check. And that's just lights out. So I was looking at lines like that. So let's see. We'll go ahead and look at it now. So I thought if knight takes, bishop takes f2 check. That's what the computer gives. It's giving king f1, which sounds insane to me. Why would it give that? I guess we'll find out. Oh, I think it's, you know, it's probably worried about like retreating the bishop and knight f2 check. So okay, after the king moves, we got to take on c6. So probably white should take, it attacks the rook. But now I have bishop a6. This is what I was talking about. Yeah, and like the only move is queen d3. Like otherwise that's mate. So my question is, after king h1, is this worse? Like it says king h1, now we take, and if bishop takes c6 on my rook, now I go, what the heck? Wow, I'm going to make a flashcard of this. Bishop g4. That's pretty. So we're going to give up the bishop and take the rook. And we did this for the purpose of clearing the f2 square, because now look at that threat. We're going to fork the king and the queen. Yeah, this is pretty amazing stuff. So they don't have time to take the rook because this would be game over. So they have to go queen to f3 to save the queen pretty much. Now I could still check if I want. Probably doesn't do anything though. I don't think it does. So here we just save our rook, rook b8, and black wins. That's pretty nice, isn't it? So give me 1 second. I'm going to save this is what I do. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I just save the FEN. I just copy and paste it, put it on the side, and then later I'll put it into Lichess, my Lichess flashcard study, and make a new flashcard. So, alrighty. So that was knight takes. Let's look at bishop takes first. I thought if bishop takes first, wow, it actually says knight takes f2. That is not what I was going to play. I was going to play b takes e6. And I thought if knight here, which is not the best move, computer wants bishop to e3. Oh, okay. So they throw in this, and then I can play queen f6, attacking the knight a lot of times. Not that many times. Putting more pressure here. Then it says knight c3. We have a game, and black's better because I'm up a pawn. And I have 2 bishops, so... And I'm active. Yeah, so all of these lines are great for black. So none of this stuff... Well, let's look at knight takes f2, because I love looking at this stuff. Okay, so if bishop takes, knight takes f2 intermezzo. What the heck is going on here? All right, well, okay, if they... I mean, okay, so 2 things I would want to look at here. What happens if they take the knight, and what happens if they just retreat the bishop, like just retreat it? Maybe even take a pawn. I don't know. This would be a big mistake, I think, because now the queen is on this. Not only that, but I just realized we're attacking the queen when we do this, so they don't have time. Yeah, they really don't have time to retreat the bishop. Sorry about that. Yeah, there's no time. You have to take this. Take this or move the queen, I guess. Yeah, queen d2 is second best. But then we just like, you know, we must be in really good shape now. I'd probably just come back to e4 and be like, wow, free pawn and free diagonal. So I like that. Well, they could retreat the bishop though, couldn't they? No, because we're attacking the queen again. Wow, okay. Yeah, it's tough for the queen to go somewhere safe, actually. I guess if queen f3, then they undefend the knight, so we could take. Now we're threatening. Discoveries and... Wow, so apparently if they take here, we take an f2, and then if they take, we play queen h6 check. That's a fork on the knight, but we also didn't recapture yet. So they go king g1. Well, I can take the knight, then take the bishop, right? Yeah, I can do this because when they take, this is check again. And so they have to move their king, and then we take the bishop still. Wow. So this is what I like to do with flashcards, because let me tell you something. I think like random tactics puzzles and checkmating patterns are wonderful. I think they are. Another thing that I think is wonderful is learning tactics that happen from my own games, especially near the beginning. Because guess what? Those tactics will show up again. And if they don't show up again, they will show up in your calculations. Like if they don't happen on the actual board, they'll be in your calculations. And kind of having an idea of what's supposed to happen really helps with the calculating. So just gives me more ideas. So I'm really convinced that this is a good thing, but who knows? I am improving, I think. All right, so in the actual game, let's see what happened. He took a pawn, I castled. So I had calculated these moves, I was ready for them. And he played bishop to e3, which is probably best. Yeah, engine agrees. And here, I decided to take the knight. Yeah, it was at this part of the game that I was like, okay, I'm up a pawn. You know, I'm up a pawn. I've got good development. Let's finish my development, hold on to the pawn, and win the ending. Okay, back when I was a d4 player, which feels like forever ago, that was basically my strategy. And I know that's a common one and one that I should be able to do. So that was, I switched gears. I'm like, I'm just going to trade some stuff off, you know, take the bishop. Okay, and here I thought, you know, I could play queen f6. It's kind of annoying because the queen has to maintain, or if the queen takes, you know, I'm up a pawn. And c6 is going to make me very solid. So this did happen. Knight c3. So let's see what the engine thinks about this approach of mine. Did it like knight takes d4? Best move. Okay, I'm happy to see that. And then does it like bishop takes? No, it likes knight takes f2 again. Oh my gosh. Is there some like fork or something? What's going on here? I think there is. Okay, if they take like this, we're probably going to take. Yeah, king takes. Now we have checks with the queen. Yeah, queen f6 check. And we're on this. Now that attacks the rook and the bishop on b5. How awesome is that one? Oh my gosh. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a flashcard of that too. All right, hang on a second. Yeah, these tactics I think are really cool, and I mean, I just think they're cool. That's why I want to make flashcards of them, but they're going to help me if I know this kind of thing. It's going to help me with these openings, so. All right. The way I did it was not as flashy, but it's computer approved. It likes black. Like, I'm more than a pawn better. And then I should play bishop d3, or, oh, it's their turn, knight c3. Computer is giving g6, which I did not consider. Why on earth would I play that? It's giving, yeah, I played this, which it's fine. The engine likes it, but in hindsight, I like bishop f5 better because after c6, the bishop covered this diagonal. I actually don't have a good diagonal for my bishop. But the other problem with my position is that I don't have the file. So I thought, you know, if I go here, I might have a visitor. I wasn't sure. You know, I don't really want to play like this. I think this could be asking for trouble, you know, like maybe double, like so. Yeah, computer likes black, so I guess this won't amount to anything, but hard for me to see that. Actually, I guess I can challenge now. Yeah, I didn't see that part. So instead of rook over, I was kind of wondering if they could do this sort of thing. I guess then I would go, you know, here. Yeah, I guess this is, yeah, this is good. They're not going to, I guess I saw a ghost. I saw rooks invading, but there's only one rook and it can't do much, so. So I actually played like this and blocked the file, so not precise. But I'm up a pawn. I don't have to be precise. I just have to be like, I just have to keep my pawn. All right, so I now got a rook on the file. And I'm not sure what he was doing. So I went here, like if he wants to chase my bishop to trade, I'm more than happy. So yeah, I think that was the best try by him, knight f5. So he's saying like, okay, I'm going to jump in, I'm going to attack stuff and get counterplay. And maybe I win my pawn back. So I actually just calmly stopped the threat. So I've been learning, or it's been coming up more and more, that when you have a winning position, one of the best things you can do is stop your opponent's counterplay. And so I'm kind of proud of this move. Let's see what the engine thinks. No, the engine likes rook takes e1 check. I did not want to give him the file like this. And then it says king f8. So I guess the idea is that we are just going to like challenge that rook next. Yeah, that works. That makes a lot of sense. And I guess if here, computer likes b6. Yeah, I was looking at lines like this, but not in this exact position. Sometimes this was a problem too, so when I was looking. Okay, but I played this move, I'm stopping counterplay. Now the knight came in, I did see this move. I thought king f8, and he actually just helped me improve my position. Knight f5. Okay, let's get the bishop ready to trade. Okay, and now, yeah, I liked knight to d7 because I have some nice options here. Tickling the bishop and maybe menacing a fork on f3. So when he played this move, I was happy to see it because knight e5 is a big threat. I mean, I'm going to take a pawn with check. So he does not have time for h5. I would just grab this and fork. So I was expecting king g2, but he played this move. I was like, okay, I will mess up your pawns. Why not? So, I mean, now with these weaknesses and a knight, I was feeling pretty good. Yeah, and the time situation here was my opponent had 24 minutes and I had 12 minutes. So I'm way down on the clock, but I have plenty of time. I mean, this is not, I'm not in time pressure or anything. And I just need to, you know, work on these pawns now. Decided that if he wants to take my knight, I'd be pretty happy. I'm still up a pawn. I can easily defend that pawn. And then it's going to create some trades down the files, and then I can still work on these. So he didn't take. So now that's a fork. It's a fork on a forking square and a fork on a pawn, which could lead to more pawns. Who knows? So I get a pawn. He moved that one. But now I have this move. Now the bishop's attacked twice. If he moves the bishop here, I win the rook. If he moves the bishop here, I fork. So, yeah. So actually, after h5, my opponent resigned. So, wow, I don't think I've ever had such a smooth game against a higher rated opponent. So, I feel pretty good about this one. Let's look at the report. Wow, I'm skeptical now if they're 1800 because they played with 57.5% accuracy. But I'm capable of doing that too, so. Yeah, the graph just looks like, can I show you guys this? I can. Hang on a second. Whoops, grabbed the wrong thing. Let's go ahead and put that up there so you guys can see, like, looks like they had 3 inaccuracies and 3 mistakes. But, like, a lot of their moves were, well, I don't know. I don't understand why it's so low for them, honestly. I had 1 inaccuracy, 1 mistake. Wow. So what was my 1 mistake? I'm going to guess it was when I played bishop e6. So I guess we'll look at key moments. Yeah, so I grabbed a pawn and hung on to it. I'm quite proud of myself. And I played this, even though this looked scary. So that was my mistake, was taking right here. Oh, because the computer like knight takes f2 here. That is cool. So the idea that after this, check, we drag out the king, we check. Then when the king moves away, we take a pawn, but that's a fork. We win material. How cool is that? Like, they'd probably have to go knight d2, and then I could just win the bishop. Yeah, I did not see that. That would have been a faster win. So that was my only mistake. Wow, and the position was just fine anyway. So that's really cool. All right, well, I guess that is it for this video. I'm happy to say that I'm up to 1740. And one last thing, let's check what my high rating is, because I think I got like, didn't I get to like 1780 or something like that? Stats. Oh my gosh, my highest rating is 1743, so I'm one away. I've been here before like 3 times. So wish me luck. I feel pretty confident that I can get a new high. So that'd be exciting for all of us, right? Because I've only made like 200 Road to 1800 videos so far. Okay, don't make fun of me. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.